Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we ready? Yep. Hi, I'm Congresswoman Sewell, and I proudly represent Alabama's 7th Congressional District, and I welcome everyone to my hometown of Selma, Alabama. I'm very grateful to Selma, its city, its citizens, in the county, Dallas County, for all the hard work that they're doing. I want to begin by thanking the many volunteers, the faith leaders, and community organizations who continue to lend their time, their energy to rebuild our beloved city and county and get our people the help that they need. For the past 33 days, yes, 33 days, we have seen an outpouring of support. We have seen neighbor helping neighbor and community member lending a hand to assist the place we call home. Amid the disaster, we have seen the very best of Alabama, and I continue to be inspired by the resiliency of my hometown community. We are indeed Selma strong, Dallas County determined, and Alabama able, and we will build that better. I want to assure you that I am working tirelessly with FEMA, the state and local officials to continue coordinating a federal response. As your Congresswoman, I have made it my mission to ensure that my constituents know about the many resources available to build back better and stronger than before. That's why I was very proud to host a disaster recovery relief update for our elected officials. I really want to thank the City Council President, Billy Young, who will speak in a few minutes. The County Commission was represented ably by Curtis Williams. I want to thank our state Senator Robert Stewart, who is here as well, and of course the council men and women who are also work for us every day. I want to give a special shout out to the Dallas County EMA Director. Toya, you've done an amazing job, and do know that we all stand with you. It is my hope that by beginning the lines of communication between state, local, and federal officials, we can ensure that our communities do not miss out on critical state and federal resources. We are now 1 month out from the disaster of January 12th, and while we have much work to do with the coordination of local, state, and federal partners, we are making critical progress. As you may know, several weeks ago, I led the Alabama delegation, every member of the Alabama delegation, including our 2 senators, Senator Tuberville and Britt, in a letter to President Biden requesting additional federal assistance as we recover from the storms of January 12th. Specifically, we requested that President Biden increase the federal cost share for FEMA's public assistance program from 75% to 100% reimbursable by the federal government. This is critically important. After all, many of our municipalities simply can't afford the local match. President Biden heard our cry, just as he did very quickly in declaring a disaster declaration. We heard that he has given us 100% for public assistance. I want to stress that to my constituent. The 100% federal cost share is for public assistance. That's assistance to our state, our county, our city, and nonprofits for public infrastructure that was damaged during the storm. This is not about individual assistance. I still want to make sure that all of my constituents know that if you have been impacted by the storms, you still have time to register with FEMA. That registration deadline is not until March 16th, and you can register with FEMA either by calling or visiting the Disaster Recovery Center. There are 2 in Dallas County. One is at Felix Heights Community Center, and the other is at Edmondite Mission Community Center on Broad Street. They are open from 8 until 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So we want to make sure that those individuals that need assistance, whether it's rental assistance, assistance rebuilding their homes, that they have fully exhausted their insurance. FEMA's here not to make us all whole, but to fill gaps. And they do a very good job of doing that, but we have to make sure that we are applying and registering with FEMA. We have until March 16th to register with FEMA if you've been impacted as an individual by the storm. I also want to say that as your member of Congress, disasters are hard no matter where they occur in our district. And unfortunately, we've had a number of disasters, especially due to severe weather. But I also want you all to know that Selma holds a special place. It's my hometown. And I want us to not only work together, but we have to live and make sure that we're recovering together as well. We don't want an uneven recovery. We want all of Selma and all of Dallas County to get the resources they need, and that is always our challenge. I would love to bring up Billy Young, who is the president of the Selma City Council, to have a few words about today's update.
Good morning. On January 12th, 2023, lives of those individuals that call Selma home changed forever. I'm going to place an emphasis on the word lives, because whenever we address this entire situation, we must give thanks that lives were spared. When you see the level of devastation in Selma, Alabama, and you can count for people still living, you have to stop and give thanks. So we're thankful that lives were spared. Now, lives were spared for a reason that lives can be improved here in Selma, Alabama. All of this storm tore through our community. It did not destroy our heart, for our heart has gotten even bigger. And we'd like to take this public opportunity to first thank the federal response to this disaster here in Selma. And we are so grateful that Congresswoman Sewell just doesn't talk about home, she takes care of home. So Congresswoman Sewell, publicly again, we want to thank you for the representation that you have provided the citizens of Selma, Alabama during this time. Now, today we received an update, and one of the things mentioned was the 100% reimbursement 30-day window. We are very grateful for that opportunity. And as council president, and I believe I speak on behalf of the other members of the Selma City Council, we want to make sure that we honor that 30-day agreement, and that we make sure that Selma gets what Selma needs. So we are grateful for that opportunity that provided, again, led by Congresswoman Sewell and her diligent representation to make sure. Now, let's make sure that citizens understand, while this process might be slow, it must be done properly. As a steward and as a council member, we have to make sure that those monies that are reimbursed to the city are accurately done. So paperwork must be done properly, and it must be done on time. As we know that years from now, after some government audit or whatever, it can be taken back. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to get this right. And this is going to require that all entities work together. I'm very pleased to announce that the mayor and the council have been working together on this cooperative effort to make sure that Selma comes out of this strong. As Congresswoman Sewell has said, we are Selma strong. After all of this is said and everything is done, we hope to say that Selma is stronger from all of this. Let us remember lives were spared for a reason. Let us take this opportunity and do those things that we must do to make sure Selma receives what it needs, that our people receive what they need. When you have a city of this size and a third of the population is impacted, essentially the entire city has been impacted. It's impacted business life, it's impacted our religious institutions, our schools, and individuals. So we are grateful today to say that FEMA has been here on the ground, and they have been working, they've been giving us updates, and we want to make sure that citizens are aware and know that opportunities are available. Go apply for FEMA. And as we've been told, if you are denied the first time, go back again, for there is an appeal process. But we want you, just as our Congresswoman has been diligent, our citizens, we must be diligent in all of this. We must make sure that we apply, and we must make sure that we return phone calls, and we must make sure that we provide adequate documentation that is needed. On behalf of the Selma City Council, we want to thank all of the volunteers that have been here to provide so much service. We've had individuals from other cities, we've had other municipalities, other counties, other governments, and from the state level that have all shown love. Love is an action, and we appreciate that people have shown their love to Selma, Alabama. The Selma City Council will continue to hold meetings as are necessary to approve whatever emergency items that have to be approved. On tonight, we have several items I hope that we will be able to approve to get the ball rolling. We ask that citizens be patient and be diligent as we repair Selma. It's not going to be repaired in one day. This is a long-term event. Let us remember, as has been said, this is not a sprint. I'm going to repeat, this is not a sprint. To repair Selma and for Selma to recover, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And if we remain diligent, and if we do what we're supposed to do, and if we work together in sincerity, we will win and we will come out stronger and better. Thank you, Congresswoman Sewell, again for what you did, and we absolutely love you. Thank you.
We're going to hear a report from our Dallas County EMA Director. Tanya, do you mind giving us a report?
Good morning. First, let me start off by thanking Congresswoman Sewell for all your hard work and dedication that you provide to the citizens of Selma. Also, Mr. Kevin Wallace, our FEMA rep in this county, thank him as well. The mayor, my division coordinator, Mr. Don Hartley, and a special thanks to all the volunteers that came in and assisted us during this time of devastation in the county. We would have not made it this far without those volunteers assisting us. And also, we do have 2 DRC sites still set up and operational. One is at the Phoenix Heights Community Center, and one is located at the Edmond Knights Community Center. They're open daily from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday. And also, the DSA teams, they're doing an awesome job canvassing the areas in the county. They have made a progress of over at least 90% of those areas for people to actually come in and register. And also, all private, non-profit organizations are eligible for public assistance. You can contact my office, and my number is 334-874-2515, and that also includes houses of worship that can qualify for PA assistance as well.
I want to acknowledge our mayor, the mayor of this great city, Mayor James Perkins, who couldn't be with us today. I want to thank him for all of the work that he has done day in and day out, and will continue to do until we're back on our feet. And in his stead, I'd like to invite Danielle Wooten to talk.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Sewell. On behalf of Mayor James Perkins Jr., my name is Danielle Wooten, Director of Planning and Development. I just wanted to give a few updates on where we are within the City of Selma. As President Young, as well as Congresswoman Sewell, has stated, we are very thankful for the work at the local, state, and federal level for us to get the 100% reimbursement from President Biden. So we want to give a special thank you to Congresswoman Sewell, to Senator Britt, Senator Tuberville, and Governor Kay Ivey, as well as President Joseph Biden. In regards to debris removal, there has been some negotiations with the Alabama Department of Transportation, Director Cooper, and that agreement is in hand within the City of Selma, and we look for that to be signed today so that those debris removal actions can move forward. Again, we want to thank Director Cooper. We also want to thank Governor Ivey for that assistance. On a debris note, we do want to encourage citizens, please do not mix your piles of debris. Please keep your disaster debris separate from any household debris piles that are in the public right-of-way. And those items should be being picked up here shortly. A few other updates in regards to recovery, housing, planning. The City of Selma is working with a consultant or a non-profit organization that will provide a consultant pro bono, working with HUD. So HUD has identified someone that can help the city, and they also have approved the city, and we have began working with HUD, receiving technical assistance to help us identify opportunities for funding and other resources as we move forward and move into disaster recovery. The last thing I want to mention is officially the City of Selma has submitted its request for public assistance. Its RPA that was done on Friday, February the 3rd. We have been assigned from FEMA a program manager, Mr. Vincent Williams. We've met with Mr. Williams and he will be here today, immediately following this meeting at 11 a.m. to begin our recovery scoping meeting. That meeting is very critical and very important for public entities, because once that meeting has occurred, we will then be able to move forward with applications for additional assistance. And so the city has worked with Mr. Williams to submit personal property debris removal application, as well as we will be looking to submit an expedited project request application, as well as temporary housing units request to FEMA through our local EMA, Ms. Toya Styles, to the state and then to the federal government, with the support of our wonderful national delegation. And so that's all the updates I have right now from the City of Selma. Again, we would like to thank all of our volunteers. We would like to thank our City Council and everyone that has poured into Selma. Although we're sad about the level of devastation, we are very optimistic about Selma's future. We know that Selma is going to rebound, Selma is going to rebuild, and Selma is going to be restored. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions? We also have, of course, Curtis Williams from the County Commission, and we also have our state representative, State Senator Robert Stewart.
Yeah, so as I understand it, the state of Alabama is going to come in and do debris removal at no charge to the city of Selma. Have you determined what window, the 30-day window? Have you looked at a date as to when the cleanup of the debris can get started?
So now that we have the 100% federal cost share, the City of Selma is in negotiation with the Department of Transportation, ALDOT, and as I understand, and as Danielle just said, a contract is in hand, and a contract has to be negotiated and then signed. In terms of the 30-day window, that 30-day window is determined by the governor, the state, along with the state ENA director, and of course we're asking them to not start the clock until that negotiation for debris removal has been complete. So the state determines the 30-day window. I also just want to say that we are just thrilled to have the 100% federal cost share. We do know that it's going to be incumbent upon all of us, because the public assistance is not just for the county and the state and the city, it's also for nonprofits and for churches. And so what they need to do, if you are a nonprofit, you have to show proof of being a 501c3 entity and have suffered damage from this disaster. If you're seeking public assistance, please contact Toya Styles, our EMA director. She will get that ball rolling because there is a process to receive public assistance. Again, I commend the city and the city council, the mayor's office for working so diligently with us to make sure that we got the information into the federal government to get the 100% cost share, and we look forward to continuing to work with the state and local officials to make sure that Selma does indeed come back strong.
Lastly, for me, you mentioned HUD was mentioned, and I guess they do have a history of being able to come into an area like this and maybe help completely transform it. Is that possible in this case?
You know, one of the things that we talked about here today in the federal update that I gave to the city council was about reimagining what Selma can look like. I think that one of the resources that FEMA offers is our federal coordinating officer can bring in strategic FEMA folks who know about all of the federal grants that are out there. We have to learn from previous disasters. I know that the city of Tuscaloosa shines as a bright example of what is possible after a massive disaster. They came up with a long-term recovery plan, and then that plan actually sought federal assistance from every agency that they possibly can. I look forward to hosting and convening community conversations about what we can reimagine Selma to be. And I invite the entire community. We want the faith-based community, we want the business community, we want every aspect, East Selma, West Selma, to come to these convenings, because we need to reimagine what Selma looks like, and we need to together, the county, the state, the city, apply for these federal grants and make sure that there are targeted applications make sure that they're good applications so that we can in fact rebuild Selma better and stronger and fully restore us to the beauty that I know this historic city can shine. Any other questions?
Someone mentioned that about a third of the city's residents were impacted. Does anybody have any numbers that kind of show the scope of the damage? Like how many buildings were damaged, or how many homes were left uninhabitable?
Well, I can tell you that over 6,000 properties were damaged or destroyed. That includes homes, businesses, and the like. I don't know if Toya wants to add any more to that, but the scope of the damage that was done in Selma, every corner of Selma was affected. Every corner of Selma was affected. And so that means that this tornado hit places, moved, hit, moved, hit, moved. And the result is that our city, our county, is in devastation. But as has been said, we see this not just as a loss, we see this as an opportunity to work together and to reimagine what Selma can be, and then working with our state and federal officials to apply for those state and federal grants in order to make that a reality. Any other questions? Yes.
Talk to us about housing. I know we have folks that are displaced. What are the efforts for that?
So housing assistance, rental assistance is being given by FEMA. And we got a report today from the FEMA representative that said that over $500,000 worth of rental assistance has been on the ground in Dallas County and in Selma. Of course, we want more, and so that's why we're asking those who've been impacted, please register with FEMA. You have until March 16th. You can do so by calling the FEMA 1-800 number or by visiting one of the 2 disaster recovery centers that are located right here in Selma. Of course, you can also apply online. But answers to your questions, even if you get a denial letter, please come to this recovery center so that you can talk to a live FEMA representative who can assist you with the missing information so that you can get covered. I hope that all of the citizens will exhaust their own personal and health insurance because FEMA is there to fill gaps and not to make everyone whole, but to fill gaps. And so to the extent that you have insurance, I then once again tell my constituents, please explore your insurance first, but do apply to FEMA for any gaps or holes in coverage and benefits that can help you. We can do 2 more questions if you all have them. Yes.
The city is about 2.5 weeks away from the annual anniversary of Bloody Sunday and the Bridge Crossing Jubilee. Is that going to be able to go forward this year? Does it need to look different? And what do you want people to come in mind if they come?
The city wants it. I can answer it. I can answer it from my perspective. I fully will be bringing a delegation of Congress people. Now more than ever, I want my colleagues to see what the needs are of my community, of my district. And so I look forward to working with Faith and Politics for once again coming to Birmingham, Montgomery, and Selma. And I now more than ever want to give them the opportunity to see the needs of Selma so that when we do apply for these federal grants, when we do apply to these agencies, that they have firsthand knowledge and those folks who are appropriators have firsthand knowledge of what Selma looked like and what it can be like so that they can freely give us more money and resources. Many of you may have seen me during the State of the Union literally accosting our president in the aisle. And what I asked him was to come to Selma, was to see firsthand and to help Selma. So an invitation is out there, not just for members of Congress to participate in Faith and Politics. Selma is a historic city, and we will try to move on as best we can, even given this process. Bloody Sunday and the Jubilee is about commemorating what happened here and making sure that no one ever forgets the scars, the pains that people from Selma and around this country experienced right here in Selma, Alabama, which brought us the Voting Rights Act of 1965. We know we come from good stock. This tornado has challenged us, but I know that we are up to the task, and working together, we will build that better. Yes.
Not so much a question as I would ask you if you could speak to the fact that if you got a third of the city that's been directly impacted, then you have 2/3 of the city who are indirectly impacted in that they have to deal with as well. If you could speak to that.
You know, the level of devastation in the city of Selma and Dallas County has been immense. We've not only had a third, or I would say even more than a third of this city damaged, and we know that everyone in this city and this county has been indirectly impacted by it. And what I can say is that we are working as judiciously as we can to get the federal resources, that have been dispensed thus far. Over half have come to the city of Selma and to Dallas County. That was a report that we received today. More than $4.5 million are on the ground within the 10 counties that make up the disaster declaration. 4 of those counties are in Alabama's 7th congressional district, and of that $4 million or more, over half, that means 2 million plus, are on the ground right now in Selma, Alabama. Of course, these figures are only as good as today. We expect those, as more people register, more needs are met, that those figures will grow. And again, I once again appeal to the citizens of Selma that have been impacted, the citizens of Dallas County that have been impacted, those in Hale and Greene and Sumter as well. Please, please, you have until March 16th to register with FEMA. Please go ahead and do so. And of course, we look forward to, I know Toya looks forward to, our EMA director looks forward to receiving these requests for public assistance from not only the city, the county, and governmental entities, but nonprofits as well.
Thank you all so much. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me.